Welcome to HISD TV. My name is Jennifer Oneal. I'm a math and science teacher development specialist here in the district. Before we get started on our practice math for today, I want to make sure there's a few things that you have. I want to make sure that you have something to write with and something to write on. That can consist of a small whiteboard, paper, a math notebook, a pencil, a marker, a pen, or a dry erase marker. Or you can have a combination of either. Now, I want you to get ready to have some fun in learning today. Let's get ready. Now for our engage. I want you guys to look at the model that is below. Look at the number of students at an elementary school. While you're looking at this model, I want you to think about these questions. What do you see in the picture? What do you know about the picture? And what questions could you ask about the picture? I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to look at the picture. Now, we're going to come back to this picture later on in today's lesson. Our objective for today. I can use concrete and pictorial models to compose and decompose numbers up to 1,200 in more than one way as a sum of so many thousands, so many hundreds, so many tens, and so many ones. Let's review some vocabulary you're going to hear throughout today's learning. Digit, place value, standard form, expanded form, word form. You're going to use these vocabularies throughout today's learning. Now, let's review how we can represent whole numbers using base 10 blocks and pictures. Now, when you're in class with your teacher, she has used some concrete base 10 block representation. Here, we have a little small cube. If we were to draw it out pictorially, it would be a dot. The value of that is 1. Our concrete base 10 block representation is a 10, and it's just going to be a rod, is what we're going to call that. When we draw it out pictorially, we're going to use tally marks and just draw one tally mark, which is a representation of 10. The value is 10. We have 10 groups of 1. Now, our concrete base 10 block representation is a flat. This flat, when we draw it out in pictorial, is just going to be a square. The value of that is 100. It is 10 groups of 10. Let's review that again. In class with your teachers, you use base 10 block representation. We have a small cube here. As a pictorial model, when we draw it out, we're going to use it a dot. The value of that is going to be 1. We also have a rod. That one rod, when we draw it out as pictorial, it will be a tally mark. The value of that rod is 10. Another way is 10 groups of 1. Our representation base 10 block, a representation of a flat. When we draw that flat out in a pictorial model, it is a square. What is the value of that square or that flat? It is 100. 10 groups of 100. Let's look at the picture from the Engage again. This time I have included a question. How would you get started solving this problem? The model below represents the number of students at the elementary school. Which of the representations below is another way to show this value? Continue to look at the picture. We're going to go through this picture on today's learning. Before we get started, let's review how to compose values. We have 1,000. This cube has the value of 1,000. It is the same as 10 hundredths. Let's count those hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Wow. 1,000 is the same as 1,000. Let's continue. First, we need to find the value of the original model. So we're going to do some counting. So we have 1, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. So we have 1,000. So 10 hundredths is equal to 1,000. Now we also have 110, which is 1 rod. That is equal to 110. Let's count our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 ones. We have 110 and 1 1. If we were to write that in standard form, it would be 1,021. Let's review that again. Our original model had 10 hundredths, which is equal to 1,000. It had 1 10. It is also equal to 110. We had 11 ones. 11 ones is equal to 110 and 1 1. Now that we know the value of the representation is 1,021, we can find the value of each answer choice to see which one is the same. So now let's look at A. We had 1 cube, which is the value of 1,000. We had 1 flat, which is a value of 100. We didn't have any tens. Let's count our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We had 11 ones equal to 110 and 1 1. So if I write this answer or this number in standard form, it is 1,111. The value of the original representation and the value in letter A do not match. So this can't be our answer. Remember, we're looking for 1,021. Now, let's look at letter B. Let's count our flats. It's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Wow, 1,000. So 10 hundredths equal 1,000. Let's look at our tens. We have 110, which is equal to 110. We have our ones place. We only have 1 small cube. That is 1. So our number is 1,011. Remember, we're looking for 1,021. The value of the original representation and the value in letter B do not match. So this can't be our answer. Let's continue. Now let's look at letter C. Remember, we're looking for 1,021. We have 1 cube. The value of that 1 cube is 1,000. We don't have any hundreds. We have 2 tens. 2 tens, which is 20. We have 1 1, which is just 1. If we write in standard form, it's 1,021. That looks a lot like what we just saw earlier, 1,021. The value of the original representation and the value in letter C does match. So this is our answer, but we still need to check letter D. Now let's look at letter D. Let's count our hundreds. Let's count our flats. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. 10 hundredths equal 1,000. We have 110, which equals 110. Let's count our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, we have 10 ones is equal to 110. So we write this number in standard form. It is 1,020. But we were looking for 1,021. The value of the original representation and the value in letter D do not match. So this can't be our answer. Now, we know the value of each representation, so we can say that the answer is C. The model below represents the number of students at the elementary school. Letter C, 1021. Let's compare the problem we just completed with another question. So this is a problem that we just completed. Now, I want you guys to look at problem 2. Sorry. How are these assessments items similar? How are the assessments items different? Let's look at problem 2. Wanda represented the number below using base 10 blocks. She has 1 cube. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens, which is 80. 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. Use the base 10 blocks to show another way to represent Wanda's value. Let's continue. So now we're going to look at problem 1 and problem 2. They're similar, but both problems are about place value. I must be able to compose and decompose a number in order to solve both problems. How are they different? Problem 1 has an answer choices and problem 2 is open-ended. Problem 1 asks you to compose a number and problem 2 asks you to decompose a number. Now it's your turn to practice on your own. Let's go to let's practice. Let's practice. I want you to take Wanda's representation of the number below using base 10 blocks. I want you to draw out the base 10 blocks to show another way to represent Wanda's value. Here is Wanda's representation. 1,000, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,084. I want you to draw another way using the base 10. Now, let's review really quick what we have done today. What we have done is we have reviewed place value, being able to represent numbers larger than 1,000 and also use other ways to represent numbers as well. We've been using base 10 blocks, our concrete models, and even our pictorial models as well. So what I want you to do is either pause the video or take any pictures that you may have that can help you with your practice later on. If you still have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to your teacher with any concerns. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in to HISD TV. Bye-bye.